Alrighty, so just popped into Upwork. Let's have a look. So I specialize in building things on Monday. I do Zapier, a little bit of cool stuff with GPT as well. Okay, so let's have a look. So senior ops program manager needed. That's more of a job. Project manager for DTC brand. It's still a job, but let's have a quick look. So, what do I need to do? Build and optimize Monday boards, set up workflows, integrate. SOP is boring. Okay, this, although I could probably knock out, we're trying to do a speed run for an hour, so I think let's look for something a little bit more detailed. How much are they paying for this? $10 an hour to 100. Let's look for something else. AutomationMonday.com. Okay, this is a little bit better. CRM. Okay, we can create a CRM. Automation requirements for Monday. Income lead processing. All right, perfect. This is like fully detailed, so we can knock this out fairly quickly. Manager reminders. Okay, we can do that. Automatic task creation. Okay, we can do that. Automatic status changes, easy. Subscription management, 7 days before subscription end date, send a reminder to the manager to create a new task, a renewal task. Automatically generate monthly recurring tasks for subscription clients. Okay, that seems okay. Telephony integration, log all calls in the client's deal card. Missed call, create a callback task. For incoming calls, automatically open the client card if the number matches. So they're using cards, which I don't really like, but that's okay. Messaging integration, incoming a message from the client. Okay, so this is more Twilio. Logging the calls would be a probably more niche program that I probably won't be doing, but we can, I guess, replicate some sort of demo to solve that problem. Lead source tracking and analytics. Okay, collect funnel statistics. Okay, this would be something like Go High Level or ClickFunnels or whatever it is. VIP priority client handling. If the deal exceeds a certain threshold, automatically set tag as a VIP. Okay. Post-sale and feedback. When a deal is closed as one, automatically create a task to request client feedback. 30 days after completion, send a reminder. Okay, so, wow. Jesus. Wow. This and this. Wow. Okay. So, let's see. 11 connects. Oh, no, that's me. 2 hires, 1 active. How many people have actually... 15 to 20 proposals. Last viewed 1 minute ago, interviewing 16. Wow. Okay, cool. So there's a bit of interest in this job, probably from, India, Philippines, who knows, right? That's posting like lowball stuff, but that's okay. I'm going to do this for absolutely free. And if they see this, then fantastic. And if anyone else wants to learn, that's awesome. You're going to learn. We're going to try to do a speed run build for this entire thing. So I'm going to choose this one. Let's close out that. And let's scope out what we need to do, right? So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to pop over here. Let's create a new one. Create a new board. So... pipeline checklist. Okay, let's create that. Alrighty, so we have a few things that we need to do. So I'm just going to grab this and put it outside of the screen for a second. And then we'll head over here and we'll start to pop them in. Okay, so instead of actually doing that whole thing, I realized that is an hour build in itself. So I've just cheated and I've just duplicated my pipeline. Crap, now I need to pull back all those items. Okay, let's just type it in again. So it would be, just to quickly demo this pipeline, it's got new task, team development log, pending payment, pending task, scope inclusive, and then NA tasks and archives. So this is for like retainer-based jobs. We don't need that, so we're going to delete that. Pending tasks, it's just going to be this 1 hour speed run, so I can delete that. Pending payments for invoicing, so not going to need that. I'm going to delete that. We're not going to head into an NA task. I mean, archive can be there, but I mean, this is all going to be done in an hour, so it's not really relevant. So let's get rid of that too. And then there's new tasks and team development log. New task is usually where, I put in new task or a client submits a new task. That's not relevant. We're just going to have this team development log, and I am the team for today. So this is, let's say it's called CRM automation job. Right, the client in this case, these don't exist. This is just going to be random Upwork company. Okay. Status is working on it. The date should be really today, I think. Well, that is today. All right, perfect. Already got some stuff going on in the background. Let me just delete that. So, okay, quick rundown of how this works. So usually I have just this pipeline to manage everything. What I do is I have the actual job name here, and inside I create the sub items. So let's type that in now. Manager reminders, automatic task creation, automatic status changes, subscription management, telephony integration, messaging integration, lead source tracking and analytics, VIP and priority client handling, post sale and feedback. Okay, can I do this within the hour? We shall see. So, usually in this case, it's all new. I'm just going to assign myself. These are all brand spanking new. Let's get rid of invoice status. It's not using that. And we're not mirroring to client boards. So usually I have one internal board to track everything with all the bells and whistles, and then it mirrors to a client board that's client facing, and they see a smaller version of this, so to speak. So taking out all the stuff that they don't need to see. Then I have time tracking that accumulates to total time, so we can see what's going on. I've also included signal to noise. So 100-0 is like fully focused, fully valuable, 100% delivery. Business is going to do good. And then as we go down, it's more like I need to troubleshoot, or things are not going well. Once it gets to 50-50, a manager should be flagged and they'll come in to save the day. But in this case, it's just me. So we'll ignore this, but I just wanted to explain that for people out there who are learning. And obviously we have priority. Not going to be really using that today because I'm going to knock it all out. And then, yeah, so let's just copy over. And this is where I like to put the checklist. So, okay, so let's do that again. Okay. And then this. And then this. Okay, that's my first checklist. Okay. Oh, this little editing part is a little bit funny sometimes. Wait. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it like that. Okay. So those three. Let's see where I actually need to start first. Okay, since that checklist thing is a little bit buggy and I want to save some time on this video so you guys don't get bored of just watching me do everything nicely, I'm gonna make it a little bit half-assed and I'll just strike out the ones that I've completed for the time being. But usually I would make it prettier with the checklist and I take it off, but hey, today is all about learning from what I'm doing, and you can spend the time to make it prettier if you want. For now, I think you all will get the idea of what's going on here. So I've just got okay, I've just got another tab to the side here where I'm just copying and pasting everything in. Okay, so right, I think this is all prepped out. If we track back to the actual scope, what is realistic within the hour? This is internal Monday, this is internal Monday, these are doable. Internal Monday meaning everything is within Monday, so we don't have to travel out to things like Zapier or whatever other platforms you're using, maybe like Make or N8N or whatever it is. I'm primarily going to be using Monday and Zapier because that's what I do best. And yeah, we'll go from there. So automatic task creation, that's fine. That's fine. 4's fine. 5's fine. 6 is, I'm going to build the foundation for it. And then what will be remaining is actually plugging in the information. So this is not going to be a fully complete, but it's going to be enough, like 90% of the way there. And then the rest is just actually plugging in the integration. So usually for this, it is a specialist software, which I don't have because I don't have like a call center thing set up going on with my business. So I'll show you most of that and then enough so you can do the rest. Messaging integration. I don't have a Twilio account, but I have built Twilio accounts for clients. So we can look into that. I might skip that and track back to that at the end so that I can show you what's actually possible through Twilio API docs. So I'll probably explaining that rather than actually building it because I don't have the tools. Lead sourcing, tracking and analytics. Automatically fill in the lead source field when integrated. Will require manual selection if not automated, always automated. Collect funnel statistics. Again, this will be depending on what platform you're coming from, but we can have a look at what's available in Zapier and how we can actually push the data across to Monday, and we can replicate, say for example, like a mock-up scenario where we're actually putting these pieces of data in. Okay, so this is fine. We can do that within Monday, and then that's fine too. Now, obviously, I'm not actually talking to the client. I don't even know who this is. This is a completely random thing that I found on Upwork. And currently it is 1:03 in about 10 seconds. So once my timer hits 1:03, I don't know if you guys can see that. Probably not. I'm going to start the speed build and I will track from 1:03. So it's 1:03. Let's begin. Alrighty, cool. Whew, speed build. Alrighty, so I'm going to open up a new Monday. I'll have my pipeline there. And then in here, let's go into here and start building the first board. So create in the folder board. We'll call this the CRM. We can not get too finicky about things. I just want to build this as fast as possible. So, okay, what are we going to do? When a new lead is created, automatically assign a responsible manager based on the business area or rotation. Okay, so let's just call this new leads. I don't know about the rest, but let's just do that. So we'll call this managers. All right. Then we can call this location. What else have we got? Based on area or rotation. Oh, not location, rotation. Rotation? Okay. I don't know if that's a spelling mistake, but let's just call that rotation. I'm assuming it's in some sort of time scheduling thing based on their setup. Based on business area or rotation. Okay, so he said, okay, I'm just going to call it business area. He said so technically I'm not cheating. I'm going to go with the area because rotation, even though we can do it, we can track back to it if extra time, but let's go with area, just keep things simple. When a new lead is created, send a notification to the team channel. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so let's say instead of using this managers one, this people column, we're going to use status instead, right? Because I have actual people on this team account, so I don't want to ping them random messages. Let's say this is okay, manager 1, okay, manager 2, manager 3, and then let's call this location 1. Ooh, time's going. Location 2 and location 3. So let's say this is location 1, 2, and 3. And what we want to do is to keep things simple. If it's location 1, it's manager 1. If it's location 2, location 2. If it's manager 2, location 2. And then if it's manager 3, location 3. So we're starting things off very, very simple. This is the first speed run. We're going to do everything internal with Monday. Usually I like to jump out to Zapier and utilize code by Zapier to do like GraphQL stuff. But hey, we're keeping it super simple. This is something very easy for anyone who's starting it with Monday to actually pick up. So what I did there was I went to automations, and I like to create from scratch. I don't really like to jump through the templates because by the time you find one, you probably do a better one here. So it's all sentence-based building. So what did we need to do when an item is created? So that's mimicking a new lead. And let's say, so we're not getting the manager from the data coming from the lead in. So when the lead in comes, I'm assuming that they're going to have the location data. So the lead should be technically coming from an integration or a form. So let's say business area is location 1, then change status manager to manager 1, right? So what I meant from before is whether it's integrated from a lead platform, a lead generating platform, say for example, MailChimp or Facebook or wherever you get your leads, right? Typically when they do come in, you do carry a certain amount of data. Now, in this case, we'll assume that they're carrying location data. So to mimic that environment, because I'm not actually plugging in a lead generation platform, let's say to recreate the environment, let's say this is like lead gen form, right? And in this, let's quickly edit this. So we'll do that. Hide the branding, don't want the branding, and then drop that out. So actually no, keep that in there. So when we go to edit, it should be the name. This shouldn't exist. So this is not actually how it goes down, but we're just trying to recreate a scenario here. It will keep the date there. So obviously, like if this was actually from your website, like say for example, Squarespace, ClickFunnels, Go High Level, whatever it is, right? There will be some type of a form, right, that they fill out. And obviously there'll be more questions than this. But just to fulfill this checklist item, let's say that's that. I'm going to fill that out in a second. What I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this. because I want to do, if it's location 2, manager 2. And then I'll duplicate it one more time when this comes back. I know this is a little bit of a strange bug with Monday, but just got to refresh. And then location 3, manager 3. So let's test that via our mockup form. So if we preview this, let's pretend this is your website. So this will be John, the good old John Smith. And then he's saying he's from location 1, which is whatever country or whatever it is. And let's just say this is today. So hit submit, what happens? Okay, so pretend that's coming from your website. There you go. John Smith, manager 1, location 1, right? I didn't set that. That was already set, right? So that popped in quite nicely. Now, usually I like to hide the column summary because it just looks prettier that way. That's just the bottom part that I removed. And let's get rid of this. Okay, so first part, is that done? When a leader is created auto based on their, okay, cool, that's done. There wasn't the logic obviously given to me in the scope, so based on what that said, that's created. I think what we'll build here today will be like a perfect demo to actually send to the client, and it's already been bloody almost 10 minutes. Holy fuck. Okay, let's keep going. When a lead is created, send a notification to the team channel. I would imagine that's Slack. Okay, so we can replicate that. There's 2 ways we can do this, right? If you're using Monday, then it could be a matter of just when an item is created, then notify someone. So it could be, hey, there's a new lead in the pipeline. Yeah, do it. Kind regards, Dewey bot. Okay, done. And then that's as simple as that, right? When an item is created, notify, right? And you could even make this a little bit more smarter, and you can say the lead's name is, and we actually use the field, they're from is assigned to the job. So you can include the actual, we can include variable values that are based on the actual columns in the database, in the board. And these will originate from, your actual intake form or where your leads actually come from. They submitted the form on, so it could be something like that, as simple as that, right? Now, obviously, that's if you're using Monday. If you're using, say, for example, Slack or Gmail or whatever it is, right? Gmail's another example. We can send out a notification there. So say, for example, in Gmail, when an item is created, send an email to someone, right? So this is very similar. So I've already got my email here. Send an email, so type your subject, type your email, and then again, these variable fields pop up. So you literally could do the same thing. To someone, you can send it to me, or you can set up an email column inside Monday where you list who it sends it to, other people in your Monday account, whatever it is, right? This would be very similar on other platforms as well. So in terms of notifications, that's pretty much it. So that's quite simple, right? I know this says the team channel. They're probably meaning Slack. So if we look into this, even though I know I probably won't have time, there is a Slack integration. So when an item is created, notify in channel. So this would be probably the one that they're looking for, unless they're using another messaging app. If they are using another messaging app, then it would be let's say let's create new folder for Uncle Dooz. Uncle Dooz is me, by the way. Let's create a new folder, speed run 1. Okay, and inside here let's create a Zap. So I'm not actually going to build it out, but we can see what the actual options are. Now, how I would build this if we actually had to use Zapier, then I would do this integrate, and I will use a webhook, which is this. So webhooks, I'll show you how to set up right now. This is super, super handy for anyone who's getting right into it. I'm not going to explain what it does, but all you need to know is this is our trigger. So when an item is created, send a webhook. You can also, if you don't want it to be that quick, you can use when a column changes, and you can assign a status. So say, for example, we can call this like webhook, and then you can do like when it goes to done, then send the webhook, right? So in this case, we'll do that just so I can show you this. So you already know that when it gets created, it's already assigning a manager, right? We can also put this on the same position as well, so it creates a webhook at the same time. But because some of you are probably confused, just watch what I'm doing here. So when you click it, you want to use another account, connect your webhook URL. You want to head over to your Zapier or whatever platform that you're using, and then pop into webhooks. Let me zoom in a little bit. Oh, well, that didn't do anything. Okay. You want to catch a hook. You want to go to configure. Maybe I'll zoom in here a bit more so it's a little bit easier to see. And in Zapier, it'll give you a webhook URL. In your own platform like Making or N8N, it'll be very similar. Very, very, very similar. So I've grabbed this URL. So think of it as like an address, right? To tell where to go to. And then I've just pasted that in there. And then that's giving me this. Now this is like back to the default Monday stuff. So, I've done the wrong one here. Hang on a sec. This is when a column changes, send a webhook. So anytime it changes, it will send a webhook. Let me choose something else. When a status changes to something, send a webhook. That's what I want. Sorry if I went too fast there. When webhook changes to done, send a webhook. Create. Okay, so what this is going to do is that when I hit done here, it'll send a webhook, and then in Zapier, it will catch it over here. And then I've got something caught. And then we have a data log, and look who's there, Mr. John Smith. Isn't that convenient? But from here, because it is Monday, typically for like easy builds, I would pull the data across. So it would be a get column values, and then hopefully that's the right one. Inside your board. So there's two ways you can set boards. You can either do a static or you can do a dynamic. Most cases you want to do dynamic. What that means is that if your webhook changes for whatever reason, it'll dynamically pull in the board ID, right? So this will always change based on where the hook's coming from. But if it was static, then it will always pull it from this board. And because, for the sake of the speed run, we're only pulling from this board, I'm just going to use that. For the item ID, this has to be static. So it's called Pulse ID. Back then, Monday was called the Pulse. Long story short, that's the item ID. So 4408, if we look here and we open up item ID, we get a 4408. Fantastic, right? And then we pull it. So let's go continue. I'm not going to scroll through the rest, but we get manager 1, location 1, the date, and that's the webhook thing. John Smith. Perfect. That's what we want. And then that's the data ready, right? And then from here, we can do Slack, we can do Notion, we can do Calendar, we can do a lot of stuff, right? Airtable, Typeform, Trello, WhatsApp. I don't know if that will do what I think it does. Discord, whatever, right? Chances are your stuff exists in here, if it doesn't exist in Monday. So Let's call that done, right? And just to explore a little bit more, let's say I wanted to send it, well, each one is different, right? So let's say Gmail, right? We want to create email, send email, right? And then you'll have to connect your account. That's not what I want. Change. Okay, we're just going to pop up. I'm just going to sign in. Okay, alrighty, and then we got me. Okay, and then from here to, you can set that to yourself. CC, BCC, from name, reply to subject, body. Okay, in the body, I can type, similar to Monday, I'm just selecting dynamic fields, right? Those are the 4 fields we were dealing with. And then you can say, hi, dudes. Rah, 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 rah. Okay. And then there's John Smith, there's date, there's location, there's the manager side. Same thing as what we did before. The difference is this gives you much more options. So that's why I use Zapier. Okay. So that took way too long because I'd like to explain things, and that took a lot of time. So we are almost 20 minutes in. Oh crap, this is not going to be good. When a new lead is created, set a deadline for the first contact within an hour. When a new lead is created, set a deadline for the first contact within an hour. Deadline. Okay, so let's say deadline. Where shall we put it? We can put it either here. Date. Yeah, we can do that. And then settings, we need to add a deadline. So show time by default. Enable weekends. That's fine. And then when item is created, let's create a new one. We can stack it on, but no but. Let's stack it. So these plus signs, so that's the trigger side. You can stack it on to create more filters in your trigger. So and only if the column is empty, item is in a group, status is something, yada, yada, yada. We're not stacking on a trigger requirement. We're stacking on what to do. So we want to set the date. No, we don't want to do that. Set the date. Okay, we can do that. We can do that for the first, set a deadline for the first contact, e.g. within 1 hour. So let's just do that for now, right? Set date to today. No, it was date 1. Okay, I didn't rename it. I should have renamed it. Let's call this deadline. Now, even though it was date 1 before, because I renamed it, it's fine. It still tracks to the same thing. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to automate again. Now we put that, where did we put it? Here. And then we want to do a push. Push deadline by days, business days, weeks. Okay, so there's no hour function there. So, man, my $150 for this project, so not worth it. But let's continue. So, troubleshooting, losing signal here. Okay, so deadline to today. So that sets the date to today. And then we want to push it by 1 hour. I don't want to travel out to Zapier just yet, but I'm going to spend 5 minutes, and if I can't, then I will. Okay, so set deadline to today. Let's see if we can push time. So, let's say when a column, no, not when a column changes, that's not good. Let's look at date. Sub-item created, date has passed, date arrives. It would be on the back of this. It would be set hour to current time. Set date. Set date for today is not the right thing I'm looking for. Set hour to current time. That's not what I'm looking for. That's working off a time column. I want to do a push, but it's not allowing me to push by hours. Let me see if I have to actually put in a date. Okay, so we got 9 a.m. there. Clearly there's a time there. So if we now check again, and let's try to push again. Push date. Ha. Okay. Deadline by. You can't do 0.1. Okay. Looks like this is already a Monday block that we have. Set hour. Here, see, there's a problem here. Okay. We're going to go to Zapier. Okay, and we'll do it based off that webhook. So good thing I already wasted some time doing this, because now we need to make some Zapier magic happen. Okay, cool. So what happens is, so usually we can do it off create item, but in this case we've separated to do via a webhook step, via a status, because I just wanted to break it all apart so we can see it happen. I'm just going to hide that. So basically when it comes in, it does this automatically. Yes, and it can send off the webhook as well automatically, but we're going to change it to when it's done, just so we can see the magic happen. Now, the hour is definitely not enough time, but let's go through it. So we need to set the time. Now, when it comes through here, it does give me some information, but not all. And then when we get the column values from the Monday step, it gives me all values. Now, usually I would do a code step here to actually get into Monday to make it a little bit more complex, but we're not going to do that. We're going to do something simple. So what we're going to do here is we're going to run JavaScript, and we're going to do something simple. I wonder if there's something simpler here before I jump into what I would usually do. Let's try format it instead. So let's try to use Zapier tools before I get too crazy here. So add or subtract time. I think this might work. Get column values. Okay, we got the date there. Maybe we can pull it from the catch hook instead, because the catch hook should have some time values in there. Event trigger time. Okay. It's got something there. The expression is is this regex plus 1 hour. So plus 1 hours to format. What format is it in? It is in year, I believe that's month, day, and then hour, minute, seconds, and something else. So we got, what do we got here? Year, month, day, time, hour, minute, seconds. I think this is the one. 2, and then from the same thing, I believe it's this one. Okay, let's see if that works. Cool. We got a 001648. The data in was 23. Did it do 1 hour? 23. So yeah, 23. Or you can't have 2416. So it went to 0016. Perfect. Now. Let's delete this. Let's get rid of this. Now keep it simple. I don't want to jump into JavaScript, because this is too crazy for newcomers to watch JavaScript. I want to update the item. Okay, choose the same board ID. We'll run the same pulse ID, which is the item ID 4408 from before. Now we're not updating any of this. We're updating this deadline with this format, and let's try to test that and then see what the heck happens. Not this one. There we go. 2:16 a.m. Now, I don't know if that's the right time. My time zone settings are really messed up because I have Australian clients, I'm in Italy, and I also have American clients, and all the dates are in American format, which is just a big mess. But hey, what happens if I submit a new form? So right now it is 1:30 my time. Test today. Right, it's not running off this, it's running its off event time trigger. And now goes into there. We pretend that that webhook ran off straight away, which it could have. And then that should now, it should have, well, wait, didn't run because I didn't publish. Silly mistake. Okay, let's do the again. Now. Hey, there we go. It is 1:30 my time, so 2:30 there. Perfect. Can we knock that out now? Set a deadline. See you later. Alrighty. Holy crap, how long did that take me? We are almost in the half an hour territory and we only finished the first one. So, holy crap. How many are there? That's 10 items. I just made $15. If this was $150, that's rubbish. That is absolutely rubbish. Anyway, so, well, I might have to split this up into multiple episodes, but let's try not to. Lead without a reply. Lead without a reply. After 15, 30, 60 minutes, send a reminder to the responsible manager. Okay, after 15, 30, or 60 minutes. So instantly, this is not just Monday. This is Zapier. So let's have a look here. Yeah, see, yep, they got this there. Yep, yes, sir. And they're using Zoho. Interesting. So probably their stuff's coming from Zoho, comes into Monday, and then they need Zapier to do the rest. So I would say on a level of difficulty, oh yeah, it's up there. It's not the end of the world, but it does require a little bit of Zapier magic. So unfortunately, not all internal Monday. That's what I was expecting, but I was wrong. That's okay. We can still go through it. Let's just open this again. So, what am I going to call this? This is going to be lead processor. Okie dokie. Now, let's see how much I can get done within the hour so we can have a meaningful experience with everybody. Lead without a reply. After 15, 30, or 60 minutes, send a reminder to the responsible manager. Right. So, 15, 30, and 60. So, that's the deadline. This is the time that comes in, right? So, we got to bank it off this one. So, we got to show a time. What was the time that this came in? Right, because there's no... Right, so no, we're going to do this. So every item that's created in Monday has a default creation log, right? That just is there regardless. Now we're going to have that. And then we're going to have... Where's the time function? There's no time function. Okay, that's fine. Now... Well, there is a time. Okay, we're going to leave that to the side then. To the side. Now, here's the thing. The client wants 15, 30, and 60 minutes, right? And this is within Monday. This is not a Monday feature, for sure. Lead without a reply after 15, 30, or 60 minutes. Send a reminder to the responsible manager without a reply. And this is manager reminders. So... this is going to be interesting because they're not really specifying what reply means. Now, obviously, in more everyday language, it makes sense, but in this world that I live in, what does it mean by reply? Is it after a call, right? Is it when the deadline hits, right? So this is going to be a little bit tricky. So I am going to make the safe assumption that so usually when I build CRMs, I have the lead there, and then within the sub items, I have things like call, email, right? And then you can have this can be right manager one, manager 2, manager 3, and then you can have like sales 1, sales 2. Yeah, let's just skip the rest to show like who works on the CRMs, right? And then so that could be also we also need another one where it's like inbound, outbound, outboing. Did I spell that right? Yeah, I did. Let's just open that up so we can see it. And then this is outbound, inbound. I know I did that in reverse for the OCD people. Right. So put that there. So let's say this email was outbound, right? I mean inbound. Right, the call would have been outbound, because it would have been the first call from manager 1 saying, hey, how you going? We'll put the creation log there, so it automatically logs the date of this being created. So the staff member has to actually log that, but then this needs to tie to the deadline. That's another question. So the thing about scopes is that I naturally find more stuff to put into it, because the logic is sort of broken in a way. Not broken, but it's like I identify things within the scope as I develop, and it requires more work. So this will teach you how to sell more. So let's call this like a timestamp for when this gets created. So when the user comes in, they'll write call, and then it'll be an outbound, so they can log the actual call. They can drop in the notes here if they want, blah, 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 this and that. It's fully customizable with Monday, so you can do whatever you want. Now, they said, now this is going to be a tricky one because it needs more details. Lead without a reply after 15, 30 or 60 minutes. Send a reminder to the responsible manager. So this is responsible manager. Now, if, say, we have a timestamp here, 1:34, and then what needs to happen is we need to have almost like we need 3 date columns. Customize, show time. So it's like it would be, let's call it like unattended, right? 15 minutes unattended. Okay. Now, I know this is going to look ugly, but you can hide it from people who don't need to see it. Okay. 30 minutes unattended. And then column only. This will be 60 minutes unattended, right? So then I'm thinking, when this is created, create 3 dates here, where it'll create a version where it's 15, 30, and 60. And then let's just create a mock-up here. So let's see if we can again try to do this time thing within Monday. When date arrives, when 15-minute yeah, that's not going to work. They're doing a time-based thing. Well, that's probably the trickiest part of the whole bloody thing. Okay, so need to think here. They want to do it. So we have a timestamp there, which is 1:34. Then it needs to happen 15 minutes, 30 minutes. So we can get the time data down. I wonder. We can get the time data down. We can run perhaps a delay function in Zapier, but there also needs to be like something where it's like attended, so it will stop the rest. So something like a task status, right? If it remains as let's just say this is cancelled, done working. Okay, so the idea would be that timestamp is made, and then we can populate these three in Zapier, which is fine. But then when the logic would be when these dates hit, when these times hit, and this task status has none of these, then send a notification to the manager, right? That's the idea. Now, how do we build it? So, let's think here. So, this just requires an expert. Hopefully, I'm an expert. Alrighty, how would I do this? So, one thing would be logging the information, and then what I'm more worried about is the actual trigger. So, it would be based on this, but how do I get the time to trigger? So there is a possibility where we run a delay feature. So let's say the webhook is there, right? Then the webhook will be based off when a sub item is created, and then when the sub item is created, it will then check for. I wonder. Okay, let me build something out here. I wonder. I'm gonna wonder a lot, people. Just bear with me. We're doing a speed build here, and time's almost up, which sucks, but that's okay. We can split this up. Now, we get that. We get the column values. We get the date and time. I wonder if we can just do it on the back of this. Let's just do it on the back of this. So what I would do is, so let's get this again. Let's retest this. What do we get? We need another one. So it sort of would be okay. I'm gonna take the easy way out. I'm gonna build something super rudimentary. Super rudimentary, but it'll be enough to tick the box, right? That's what we want. So what I'm doing here is sub item. I want to get sub item values. Oh crap! No, this has to be a brand new one. Okay. Delete. What I want to do? Did I make a new one in here? No, I didn't. Okay, good. What I'm gonna do? Oh, I just lost the folder. Let's bring it back. What I'm gonna do is. So we got the timestamp, which is the creation log. Okay, so what's gonna happen? I'm gonna create another webhook. Man, I thought this was gonna be a lot more simpler, but we're already diving into webhooks. It didn't occur to me that this was an expert level, and it kind of looks like it. I mean, it's not super expert, but hey, it is what it is. Let's go when a sub item is created, send a webhook. So we're going to do this one immediately. I know we didn't do the other one immediately, but we'll do this one immediately because it's time sensitive. And we want to get the correct time, right? So we run the webhooks. Catch a hook. Configure. No, skip that one. We'll go straight to this. Grab the key. the address, whatever you want to call it. It's the address. Create. Okay, that's live. Now over here, we'll catch it. Right. I gotta create a new one. So test, and then bing bang boom. That gets a timestamp from the creation log. That sends the webhook. We will catch the webhook over here. We'll call this sub item task deadline processor. What? Yeah. Okay, that's good. Now we pull that. Okay, we're pulling directly from the sub item. Now from here, what do we get? Do we have enough information? No. Chances are we don't. So we go back to Monday. Then we pull a sub item. Get. Right. Cool beans. Yes. Continue. Board ID. Again. Oh, this would be... It will either be CRM or sub-items of CRM. Let's have a look at what happens. So we'll test this. Nothing. Okay, so it would be sub-items of CRM. There you are. Continue. Test. No data. Why? Why? 948. Oh. It's because literally we have no data. So 948, we have the 948 there. So let's go change it to inbound manager 1, and that is empty. Okay. And then we'll try that again. Retest. Give me the goods. Whoa. Interesting. 948. Item ID. Okay, 1 second. Let's check here. What actually is in there? If we go from static, call email test. Ah, right. No, I'm trying to get sub items of the bloody sub item. No, I want to get... Yeah, that does not make any sense because it does not make any sense. So maybe I can track back to where I was before. Hang on a sec. I will still need to make it here anyway. I wonder. Right. Okay, so I might have to track back here. Yeah, because that's carrying that. So we might be able to just tack it on to the end here. Okay. I was right before. Okay. So this would be Monday. And then it would be get sub item. No, this is not gonna work because it's gonna give me all of the sub items. I want just the one sub item. I was wrong. Okay, come back here. Now, I need to get the exact sub item. I do have the ID there. When I come down here, it needs to be... Does it have a parent? Pulse ID. Parent ID. Okay, so it does have the parent, but I want the Pulse ID. This is where I would go straight into GraphQL, but I want to try to keep this relatively simple, but it's not allowing me to. Maybe because this is expert. It could be the case. It could be the case. Now, if I go sub item, right, it does show me that I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. Okay, cool. It was just get column values and then you use sub items as the board ID rather than get sub items. Super confusing, but hey, that's what we're all here for, to learn together. Now, Pulse ID 4948. Test again. Oakley dokley. We got inbound, manager 1. We got this creation log. Perfect. Now, what we need to do is... I don't think we need this creation log. So the little cheat thing I want to do, right, is unattended. 15 minutes unattended, right? What I want to do here is essentially this. So the path would be, we're setting up pathways here. So it's in the logic tree. We're setting up logic here. So what do we have? We need to understand if this task status, which is, and the item ID for this is YE4K. So YE4K, or here it is. If it's empty, right? So it would be if YE4K does not exist. 15 minutes. 15 minutes. 15 minutes. So this needs to delay for 15 minutes and then check if it doesn't exist. Okay, so since, okay, no, this is wrong. This needs to just run regardless. So let's go, if the ID exists, which it always will exist, so it will run regardless. And then what's going to happen here is we're going to put a delay step. We're going to choose delay. We're going to delay for 15 minutes. Okay. Minutes. Okay. And then it needs to check. Now this is a very ugly way to do this, but it will tick the box. It's ugly because basically it's gonna do this, and then it's gonna check if that field is empty. So we'll put a filter here. If the so this is ugly because it's gonna cost you 1 credit for this. I don't know exactly 1 credit, but this is going to cost you credit. This is going to cost you credit. This is free. This is free. This is free. This is going to cost you credit. This one's the ugly one because it's going to check for credit every time. Catch hook, get column value. Yeah, it's going to be 2 credits per task. But hey, it'll tick the box, which is not the end of the world. 2 credits. What is 2 credits? It's probably a little bit more, but hey. So it'll get the column values, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a filter here. If YE4K does not exist, we are doing a little bit of work around here. I would have done this a lot better with code, but I didn't want to get that crazy. That's like expert plus. So configure and test. If YE4K does not exist, retest. It does not exist. Fantastic. That's good. Then this is the part where we send a message to the manager. So would be, well, we can either do, for simplicity's sake, to tick the box, we can, I wonder if we can do notify in here. No, you can't. We can, what can we do here? No, we definitely can't notify. We can either, one, send an email. We can notify. For the sake of me saying I want to notify, I'm going to do it. So we don't need this anymore. We are using that. Actually, we don't really need to use that. Yeah, we do. Are we using it? So this condition is going to delay. Where did my delay go? Oh wait, that's the wrong one. I don't even know if I saved that other one that I just closed, but that's okay. Let me just zoom out a little bit. So what happens is when a new item is created, and let's say it's inbound, right? I haven't even figured out how that actually gets to inbound. That's another story. But let's say that's inbound. We log that in. Let's say it's manually logged in for now. Again, there's details missing. So I'm just assuming here. It gets that, gets the Monday values, goes here, 15 minutes unattended. So we're handling that by doing a 15-minute delay. So really, when this is created, whether it's manual or whether it's automatic, the timers are running, right? Basically, because it'll just go bang, bang, bang here, right? And the conditions are if the pulse ID exists, which is always, and then it'll delay for 15 minutes here. Then it'll get column values. If the YE, this one, YE4K has nothing, which it currently has, then continue. And the continue step will be the notification. Now I'm going to set up a little cheeky way of notifying. So let's go create another status. Notify manager. Let's say, let's just give it to, so really it's like active or not, right? Trigger, apply, and let's go automate, sub item, status changes, notify changes to trigger, then change it back. Crap. I didn't make one. I think I just need to put something there. Yeah. So I want it to, when it goes to trigger, I want it to go back to standby, right? And then I'm going to hide this from the world. So nobody can see it but me. And then what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to do so there's a workaround that can be quite interesting. So there's a lot of fundamentals that I've gone through here today, which will open up a world of other things that you can really automate, right? So, like, yes, we are looking at a scope today, but I think what is really valuable in this little speed run is that we're opening a lot of doors in terms of like the logic flow of thinking and the vision that you can actually achieve with the workarounds that I'm doing. I want to update an item. Oh my God, I have literally 10 minutes to go or less. It sucks because we only went through just a few. So it would be update an item. It would be the sub item. No, that's update item. That's not what I want. Update item. Board ID. I think it was sub items of CRM. Load more. Give me the goods. That pulse ID, and then it would be down here to trigger. Okay. Test. Okay, and that should really fire that off. Now we can check in the activity log if that fired off. Yes, it did. He went to trigger, and then Monday turned it back to standby. Now we do another one. Automate. Create. When. Shoot. When. Shoot. This has got to be 15 minutes. 30 minutes. 60 minutes. Okay, apply. Now I've got 3 statuses there. So now I need to change this. Well, let's change this to anything. Change it back to standby. Okay, then I'll come back here and I'll change this one to clear. Retest. Give me the goods. This one's 15 minutes. So retest, that one changes to, do we get to see it? Oh, we did it. We didn't even see it. That's how quick it was. All right, that's fine. So that one does the 15 minutes. And then, oh my God, time. And then when status changes to something, notify manager changes to 15 minutes, then notify someone, people column, no, notify, who am I notifying? People column, no, right, just click that. Team, no. Team member, no. Crap. Okay, I'm gonna put me for this case. It's been 15 minutes, bro. Talk to the customer, the lead. Now, it would be ideal to have the people column. So say for example, okay, I know we didn't use the people column, but let's say for example, for this case, let's do it, right? And let's go manager. I know it's a little bit backwards and forwards, but then let's just say it's that, right? Then this one would make sense. Wait. Where is it? Did I not save it? When? No, didn't save it. When status changes to something, this changes to 15 minutes, then notify people column manager, right? Hey bro, it's been 15 minutes since lead is unattended, right? Something like that. Now obviously we can replace this with Slack, with whatever the heck it is, right? The only nuance would be you need to tap into the actual parent ID. So it would be, say for example, so we did this, right, and it updated the trigger. We can also do something else where, because we have the parent item, right, and I'll just use Gmail as an idea, like a reference, right? Send email, radio to whatever, right? Blah 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 blah. That's fine. This will be the lead unattended. Now we need to figure out who the manager is, right? So then it would be the case of, so this is getting the sub items. Now from here, it would be paste below. Then it would be configure. This will be get column values of the parent, and then test the step. That way we can find 8DZ7, 8D7Z, which is manager 1, or me, whichever column you use, right? And then there we can create like a table. Again, all of this, literally, this is the old way I used to do things. All of this can be done in a few code steps. Like one JavaScript step to handle most of this, rather than this old school convoluted way where we're doing all of these crazy workarounds. But I wanted to demonstrate this so you could actually do it yourselves instead of going through crazy code. I do have all this cool stuff that you can use, but hey, we'll save that for a later episode. Now, we needed to do like a table. Utilities. It's been a while since I made all this stuff. Lookup table. So the lookup key would be manager 1, right? Manager 1. Manager at. We'll be doing something like that, and then we test the step, and then we get manager 1's email, because we did a get column which looks at the parent. So let's rename this get parent item details, and we've just hit the hour mark. And we did a lookup key for that, which is this. And then we know who the manager is in regards to the actual job, not the calls, emails, and all that stuff. So, and then we did a little lookup table. So here you would like manually put in all your managers, so to speak, and then their emails, and then in here you can dynamically figure out who to bloody email. And you do it from this lookup table. It's always going to have one output, right? So if it's manager 1, because we click manager 1 here, our lookup table says manager 1 there. Therefore, this is their email. So say, for example, just to make it clear, this is manager 2, right? And then we'll do a test one where we just pretend this is manager 2. Then this will come out as manager 2, right? But because it's manager 1, it comes out as manager 1. So in the event where it is manager 2 here, it will have manager 2's email, right? And then from here, basically, the rest is just literally, I know we're going past the hour here, just give me another 5 minutes and then we can wrap this and continue into the next episode. I need to save this, actually. How do I save this? I've already saved it. It's in the pipeline. Basically, this would be so that was 15 minutes. This one will be 30, right? Actually, I can just do this. Delete. Wait. And then duplicate. We'll call this 30 minutes. Rename. We'll do that 30. And then it'll get the column values again. If this is going to change. So we got to retest this. We got to remap this to YE4K. If it does not exist, then run the rest. And then, oh man, I hate it when it does this because I have to rename everything. But essentially, we're doing the same thing here. Right, rename, it'll get the parent values, and then it'll process. So this will be an identical lookup table, but we have to remap now because we're pulling from another instance. So this would be manager 1, okay, retest, and then same thing here. So to remap, manager 1, and then this, what does this do again? Notify manager, 15 minutes. Well, do we need that anymore? All right, this is for the internal one. If you're doing the notification side, this is the if you're using something else like Slack, right? And then literally it's just a matter of duplicate again. And I know I'm going past the 1 hour limit, but please bear with me. It's been a great hour for sure. How many did we actually get done? Like 1 and a little bit. Well, $150. Is it worth it now? Probably not. Probably not. What's going on here? I've lost my Zapier. That's a new one. I'm going to hit refresh there. Wow. Maybe it's telling me, hey dude, your hour's up. You're over OT now. Probably the case. Or Zapier's down, one or the other. Yeah, Zapier's never down. Not really. So this should be 60. Let's just keep chugging on through so that we can wrap this one up. So next time in the next episode, we'll be ready to go. I don't usually like to wrap up with clients with half built stuff. So it's always good. It's good practice to just get through it. I mean, we're very close. So let's just go through, shall we? YE4K. I think it's good anyway because it shows you like the nuances of what you need to go through when you are doing development. I'm not going to rename these. It's just going to take me a few more minutes. It's such a pain in the bum, so we're not going to do that. We're just going to remap everything, and then away we go. So that's there. Now I'm going to skip those tests, and then this one should be 60 minutes. So that's pretty much it. That's the wrap up here. What have we successfully built within the hour? Let's have a look. So I didn't do the whole thing, that's for sure. But hey, what did we do? New lead is created, automatically assign a responsible manager. Depending on the business, yes, we could look into rotation, but again, I think I'll be making up a lot of details, which is not good. So we just went with the business area, which is more concrete, because they can easily just replace these, rename these and rename these, and away we go, right? So that's like a 99% deliverable. Send a notification. When a new lead is created, send a notification to the team channel. Yes, we did that. When a new lead is created, set a deadline for the first contact within the hour. We did that, but they didn't mention a reminder for it. So we did successfully create the actual date, but when we actually traveled into the second part, which let's edit here and let's strike this bad boy out. When we headed into here, we bumped into a limitation with Monday straight away, which is working with times. And basically we did a little bit of an ugly workaround. In my preferences, this is ugly, but to many other people, this is beautiful. Where when a sub item gets created, whether it's manual or whether it's automatic, that's another thing we need to look into, which was not really mentioned, because this is more details for the developer, not so much the client, because they're not going to be weary of this, or aware. It's probably a better word. Where, you know, this is created. And then, because if it's outbound, then they literally, you know, and plus I set this up my way. If it's outbound, they've already called them. So, you know, it'll be automatically, if it's outbound, it should be working on it. If it's inbound, then it should be blank, right? Because there's been no activity yet. And then if this is, say, for example, let's actually test the system, right? So we'll use the same catch hook. We'll retest this to get column values. We'll see that YE4K is now working on it. And then these ones, they will run regardless. So it's not really a filter or anything. It's just I need to split them up, right? And then this will delay for 15 minutes. This will then get the column values. And because we have a working on it, this one technically then should fail, which it does. So it does not continue. So that means that when this is on working on it, or it's done, or it's cancelled, it will essentially knock out this entire system, right? Even though it will run for delays. So it will process this as a credit, it'll process this as a credit, it'll run down, that's free, that's free, that's free, that's not. So this is going to be like the validation area, and that's going to stop from processing the rest of the credits, right? So credit usage is something you need to look into when you become more of an expert, so to speak, which can be really, really trimmed down if you use Code by Zapier and JavaScript. I will be looking into that at a later date, but I figured, you know, this is the first episode. Let's actually try to keep it relatively simple. I know we hit an expert job, willing to pay higher rates for the most experienced freelancers. Yeah, definitely not 150, that's for sure. Maybe in some other countries, but for me, absolutely not. But yeah, we did the 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, and we did it off the delay function. So we didn't actually have to host the time data anywhere. This timestamp, honestly, I think at the moment it's just visual, so it's not. We're not actually using this data. So and neither are we using this here. So we can just delete that. Yeah, and we'll keep that there just for like visual, because you know, if someone was actually to use this, they would have to jump into here, check the activity log to see when it actually came in. Otherwise, this is just fine to look at this. And then obviously I would hide this from staff because they don't need to see that. They don't need to see this either. So yeah, these trigger off the internal ones, and then the external ones are handled in Zapier. That is it for this speed run. How many did we get to? 4 items really. So based off that, probably I need 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 more. Alrighty. Wow. Oh, I didn't time track. Crap. Fantastic. Alrighty. Well, I deleted half the crap off this board, so none of my automations are going to work. But hey, that was the hour. I hope you learned a lot. I know I went through a lot of stuff very, very, very quickly, but let's continue on in the next episode. Alrighty. We found some random guy's thing on here and we went through it, and I think I can probably knock this out in a day's work, to be really honest. But again, there's a lot of issues in dealing with this. Obviously, we haven't spoken to the client, don't know who this is. It would probably require a lot more detail in terms of just tying everything together. But I chose this because it actually is quite detailed compared to the rest, without actually taking another step and actually meeting with the client and getting into the particular details. So that's it for this episode. Let's do another speed run, and hope you guys have learned something today.